Last year, the focus at Swampscott Elementary was so about the complex process of integrating the 3 schools in daily operations that, setting strategic goals really wasn't on our windshield. And this year we had that chance. We had that opportunity to do so with our team. And I am actually happy that we had this chance to reflect on it, because what our team has done is we really looked at the three goals we presented in September. I think we were here presenting in September, and we've moved the needle a lot with all 3 of our goals, even more than I even anticipated by January. So that was actually, during our reflection, has been great. So we're going to start with our goal number 1, which was our positive behavior. If you remember, we were talking about the Lobstars, and our new school initiative that it was using the Lobstars, the team positive behavior program. Started off with the administrators kind of opening the gates with it all, promoting it, explaining it, along with our teachers during the SEL. We're pleased to announce that all of our SES faculty and staff are now involved in handing out the Lobstar. And everyone's the school has been participating. So far, we've had 2 celebrations, which has been amazing for our Gull House and our Puffin House, and we'll share some pictures in a minute. They were the first the teams to win. And to celebrate their achievements, the Gulls engaged in a competitive morning kickball match versus the staff, and the Puffins got to enjoy their first indoor carnival to start the day. And the next house that will be announced to win was on January 30th. And if we scroll through to the next slide, you'll see this is just some pictures of the celebrations that we have here with the team. Indoor Carnival had a lot of the stuff we use on field day. We actually blew some of the things up. And the teachers and the kids were able to celebrate the positive behavior. And it is the next slide is our matrix. This was launched in all community meetings, every grade. The teachers in SEL classes also were, revisiting what expected behavior looks like in the classroom, in the hallways, in the bathrooms, in the lunchroom, in the playground, online. Like, we were kind of trying to target it all. And I will tell you, if you walked in the cafeteria in September versus January, even after having 12 days off, it is a different place. And it also is quite adorable when you see, we'll get there in a minute, just the claws up everywhere. The whole school is definitely bought into it, I would say, even quicker than I even anticipated. And the Lobstar seaside community, it all just connects so beautifully and so nice. So I'm happy to share all the action items so far for this. We've hit every action item that we were hoping to. That's the next slide. Thank you. And that was at the beginning when we were launching the team house. And then if we go to the next slide, we have our deliverables. Again, it is a regular occurrence. If anyone was to come into our schools, whether you're in the hall, whether you're in the CAF, whether you were in music class, claws are up. It's exciting to see. As the administrators, we consistently refer to what the expected behavior is. If a child does end up with one of us for an unexpected behavior, we constantly refer back to it. When we're dealing with any office referral that comes our way. And if you go to the next, you'll see the kids in action with their claws up. That's just what you see. They were coming out of the cafeteria and the kids were going up. This is daily, you'll see it, which is awesome stuff. And I think, I said January 30th is our next. We're going to announce our next team that wins. And we now moved it to all staff. So any staff now can acknowledge a child that's showing positive behavior. So we started with the administration, then we gave some selected, like the kids didn't know who we then, were able to give who was going to give them out. And now we're at all staff, which is pretty fantastic. And our next goal, which Mr. Kalishman has talked about, was targeted instruction. And I'm going to have Ms. Horgan speak to that a little bit for everybody.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, we've been building a system that's moving the needle for all our students. Our goal was targeted instruction, which was implementing 40 minutes a day of homogeneous groupings, and students were moving across classrooms, experiencing different instruction styles. We had a heavy focus on our lowest 25%, but the system is kind of designed to challenge our high-achieving students as well as our, every child, ensuring every child receives instruction at their specific level. I don't know, so the next slide is the action items. So all of these action items have been completed for the first cycle, and now we're currently in the phase of planning our cycle 2. I don't know if you want to skip to not the next slide, but the slide after, and I can kind of just talk about all those points. Yeah, perfect. So, like I said, we have successfully planned the groups. Our primary goal is for 70% of these students to achieve at least a full year of growth. To hit that target, we've clearly identified our anticipated lowest 25% in the 4th grade, and we're happy to report that those support plans and groupings have already been active. We're staying on top of this too. We've been reviewing informal and formal data, which allows us to kind of adjust our teaching in real time and keep families informed as well. It's really just kind of about creating a culture of data-driven, differentiated support, especially for our multilingual learners, students on IEPs, as well as our high-achieving students. We definitely have to extend a huge thank you to Sarah Kent and our interventionists. Their work behind the scenes, meeting, researching, creating resources, and providing feedback is what's driving these placements, and it's been the backbone of this entire process. So huge thank you to Sarah. Yeah. So, another important part of this was the staff feedback, and this has been significant. It's a huge learning curve for us, and it's definitely, we couldn't do it without the collaboration, and that's been great. So based on just the valuable feedback from staff, we're moving to more of a consecutive model for our second cycle. So we're going to do 5 weeks of math with one pod, followed by 5 weeks of ELA or literacy. Given that we have 10 weeks before MCAS, this 5 and 5 model, it's just going to give us that focused, uninterrupted time that we really need to drive those results home. So, and that came out of the feedback and just collaborating with a lot of the staff. We also just want to thank our students and all the staff for their flexibility in this process. Launching the TI initiative wasn't easy, but everybody's been just an incredible team player. We're sending a parent survey out next month and a student survey later in the spring. But a lot of this has been driven by just the anecdotal feedback that we're hearing from classrooms. And so far it's been productive and positive.
And just to jump in there too,
Yeah.
the reason we definitely want to do a formal survey with our families is I'm getting we had a parent meeting today, and that parent told us that the best part of her daughter's day was targeted instruction. So we want to hear across all households.
Yeah.
Kind of what their children are reporting in those households, just so we can actually get the data from that as well as the families. And we're even going to pitch it a very accessible, easy survey to our students at the end of the year, and just get some feedback from our kids as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, for future planning and just kind of closing, we are just actively exploring new math intervention resources with the help of Sarah Kent as well, to ensure that our teachers just have the best tools that they can have for planning. And this whole system is still evolving, and it's a work in progress, but our foundation is pretty solid. And we're seeing more focused, data-driven approaches that are just benefiting every learner. And we're just going to continue to stay committed to just refining it. And based on what we learned from our staff and families, we just really look forward to just sharing that growth with you guys. So thank you. And yeah, it's kind of it.
And then goal number 3, which I feel like just me personally, I had the least to take time to really see how we were doing on this goal because it's not so much in your face every day. But I was very pleased to see how much we've actually accomplished in our community building as well. And if we kind of go a little bit, I would say if you can go to slide 14, I think it's entitled Action Items. It should be the next one, yeah, here. So all the bold is what we've done already too, which with the help of the middle school staff and Principal Minter, we've already done 3 sessions of our mystery readers work with the middle schoolers coming down to work. And we've had some siblings that were able to read to their younger brother or sister. And just even the excitement of getting to see my former colleagues from the middle school come down, come to be in the school with us, that was awesome. And I spoke to Heather Carr today, who is our grade level leader in 4th grade, and we're looking to probably March, or I would say end of April, to get the letter writing to the community. We had one of our teachers did it last year with the senior center here. They were doing lighter pen pal project back and forth, and then they had the opportunity to meet in person. We're looking to, as I shared earlier, to extend that with groups. So we're maybe one group, we may come to all of you and say, hey, education and kind of people involved in education for Swampscott's one group, and that may be Heather Carr's class. Then the fire department may be, Julie O'Brien's 4th grade class. And connected to the curriculum, formal letter writing is actually in their curriculum. So it would actually, real life learning, how do we make this, tangible for the kids? So we're excited for that. Just to share something very awesome with you all, this is a quick, can you click on action items where it says firefighters video excerpt? This is very quick. It's just a little touch of, this was with Miss Sushian's 1st grade class. They wrote letters to the firefighters. Oh, the audio, is that working? The audio, I don't think it's working correctly, but what it was the 1st graders got to write letters and ask their big questions to the fire department, and then the guys answered back with their answers with video live. The kids loved it. Awesome. In addition, the Swampscott Police Department, every time we call them, but also definitely heavy loaded on the beginning of the year. They were with us morning, afternoon. Then once we found our way, they kind of backed off a little bit, but they're always there during special events and if we need to call them. They also did that schedule that they were on, I think, up until the holiday. We still had officers in the building. They had a calendar, and the kids loved it. They loved seeing that. We had a very successful food pantry drive with Officer Wilson. We also had the fire department present with us we had a presentation, and then they were with us when we did our BFIT challenge that we won some money with the Boston Bruins, or with that challenge, and Officer Wilson was also there. Our family coffees, we've completed K and 1. January 27th is our second grade one coming. And we've had our turkey trot, our winter fair, and we are already, believe it or not, in the works planning and prepping with the PTO, with our PE team, talking about how to make field day even better than it was last year. And it was quite a community event. We had people volunteered across this community. We even had the paramedics were on site the entire day. So that was really great too. So yeah, we're moving the needle with all 3 goals, and we're excited, and I'm very, very proud of our entire team and our students. And just to conclude with a very sweet moment from one of my 2nd graders in Miss Lever's class today. When I was in the classroom, it happens to be the 80th day of school today, and they let me know that, and they said, Miss Sanborn, we only have 100 days left. And Phoebe asked me if I could extend it by 1 trillion days. And I thought that was adorable.
If only.
So,
Right.
that was great.